In Money 101, Deana Healy, Vice President of Financial Planning and Advice at Ameriprise, shares some insights into how parents can approach their family finances with confidence and raise financially savvy children. This is a great plan. Tell us about Ameriprise's new Parents and Finances study.
Thank you, Angie. I'm so excited to share the results of this study. We talked to parents, over 3,000 parents across the country with kids aged from newborn to 30. And we really found that parents were finding a natural tension between their competing priorities and wanting to find a way to both meet their current financial needs as well as planning for their future long-term financial goals. In fact, that was their number one concern, was how they could balance those trade-offs today while making sure that they could meet their future goals like retirement or planning for kids' education.
How can parents take control and meet family financial goals?
You know, I think one of the first things I'd call out is, in fact, having those conversations to understand what their goals are. I think in a time of uncertainty, it really is useful to sit down with an advisor, understand what's important to you about your money. What do you want to see happen? What does retirement look like for you? How do you want to provide for your kids for college? And what else might be important to you about your money? Having those things understood and then putting a plan in place to meet those goals really will set parents up for success.
What are some tips to teach children about finance? And I understand the tooth fairy can play a role.
So the first thing I'd call out, and in fact, one of the fun facts that we found from this study was that parents were enlisting the help of the tooth fairy. And on average, the tooth fairy is depositing $5 into their kids' piggy bank. And that sounds like a fun fact, but that's actually a great opportunity to start to help kids make decisions about their own money at a young age. That's an age-appropriate way for them to say, should I spend this $5 on a candy bar or a Pokemon card, or do they want to save that up along with their allowance for something that is maybe longer term? And so learning how to balance a current decision with a delayed future gratification is really an important lesson to help kids make smart financial decisions in an age-appropriate way.
The stock market is in a volatile stage. Who tends to do the best with their money and make it through challenging times?
Absolutely, this is a time of volatility, but it's not the first time we've seen volatility. I can look back to think about the early 70s when gas prices were very expensive, inflation was high. There were lines around the block to get to the gas station. But throughout our history, we've seen moments of volatility, and those who fare the best are in fact those who don't make emotional decisions in the moment. That's why having had a conversation with an advisor can be so important. And in fact, our study did indicate that parents, nearly 9 in 10, said it was very helpful for them to have worked with an advisor, because then in those moments of volatility, you know that you're working for the long term. Maybe it's a good time to not look at your 401k balances, because that can lead to stress or anxiety, and just know that you've got a plan in place to meet your needs.
Excellent place to leave it there. Thanks for coming on our show.
Thank you so much, Angie. I appreciate it. And I think if parents have additional questions about how to raise financially savvy children, I'd recommend that they go to ameriprise.com/parents for more information.